It's all right. I haven't had any issues. It's very diverse. It's the same as the States.
So dating in Korea, man, everybody is with the same people. So if you dating one person, you probably dating 5 more people behind that. To be honest with you, it's a lot of stuff going on out here, but you know, it's a fun place.
I'd say it's like 50-50. It's either they absolutely disgusted with me or they love me. It's either one or the other. I'm gonna be honest.
You never know if the female have somebody on the side. It's complicated.
For me personally, I've made some pretty good connections. I've had like about 2 relationships the past 3 months.
Most of the time that I see like interracial couples is mostly like Korean and white, whereas a lot of times as black people are seen as like fetishized or like a fun time, you know?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after watching this video, there is one thing that I can honestly co-sign on in reference to dating overseas, dating abroad, more specifically dating in Asia. And that was the young brother who said it's a 50-50 chance. 50% chance they rock with you, 50% chance they don't rock with you, okay? I've never dated anybody in Korea. I've never dated a Korean young lady. So what the other gentlemen are saying, yo, I gotta take their word for it because they're in there, they're in the mix. So I assume they know what the world they talk about, right? But when it comes down to the idea that it's 50% chance they rock with you, 50% chance they don't, same rules apply even in a place like the Philippines, right? Most people would like to believe that Filipinos in general may have an overall general attraction to foreigners in general, not necessarily race specific, but to foreigners in general. For whatever reason they like them, for whatever reason they rock with us, just take it with a grain of salt, okay? It just is what it is. But, you know, there are some that specifically have a preference for dating just white guys, right? Specifically white guys or European, don't matter where you're from in the world. You could be the UK, Australia, it doesn't matter as long as you're white, you're good, right? Then on the other hand, you got some, I've never really met any that were specifically just dating black guys, but there are some that do have a preference for African-American brethren like myself. Luckily for me, when it came to me and my wife doesn't necessarily have a preference for black men. And I think I've said this before, but I will say it again. If my wife had a preference for black men, I probably wouldn't be with her right now. A lot of people would be like, Doc, what the fuck is you talking about, bro? Why would you not date your wife if she had a strict preference for black guys? Because that would mean that I'm only in this relationship purely because, or I only got in the door because I am African American. And that was my foot in the door, and she only rocking with me because I'm black. That's just my feelings, right? I don't really care for girls that strictly have preference for one way or the other, because if somebody else comes along that's better than me in whatever form, oh, he's black, he's a little bit more handsome than my already black husband, so let me go somewhere else, right? That's why I don't necessarily care for a woman to have a preference specifically for black men, right? Or specifically for white guys in that regard. And I think the same rules should apply to you guys if you're dating anybody, right? You don't want them, now they can have a preference, well, they could like or have a desire to be with. It's different than having a preference, because a preference means that you shun away damn near everybody else that doesn't look like they fit this particular mold, right? That's why I'm not a fan of that, because you're only fucking with me mainly because I am black. Now, am I flattered that you rock with me like because of that? Absolutely. But preference-wise, it's a little different. So going back to the story, 50% rock with you, 50% don't. One thing that one of the gentlemen said toward the end of the video that I like, and I've talked about often because I'm not ashamed of it, I take it for what it is. And when I was living in the Marcus era, this was cool for me. He said there are some that specifically fetishize, goddamn, I get it right. Fetishize. I want to say fantasize, but fetishize black men. Like literally they're only with them because of what they heard about black men, right? Some are well endowed, oh my God, they're so super masculine, this, that, and the other. So whatever stereotypical stereotype that you hear about black guys, a lot of women, some Asian women in general, will choose to be with the guy specifically because of what they heard. Not so much for anything long-term or anything that you can see a future with, but more so one night stand. You know, we have a fling here and there, but nobody that you would take home to mamas and the pops and shit and introduce them as your significant other. Feel me? When I was young, I could care less, man. If you wanted to fetishize me in any, or use me, or not abuse me, but if you were a young lady that liked me specifically because of what you heard about black men, I didn't care. Matter of fact, I used it to my advantage a lot when I was younger. I'll tell you the truth. I tell you no lies because I am a real one, right? Marcus did not care under any circumstances whether you chose to be with me because you just happen to have a thing for black guys. Back then, fetishizing and having a preference for black men because of that particular fantasy or fetish that you had, I could care less, right? I was all in for it. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it. I've said it before. You would have to have paid attention in a video. It was a long time ago. But I used to actually phrase my questioning or line of questioning when I was like texting a young lady based around how they felt about black men, right? And let me give you an example, because this was kind of like my prototypical text. I never really changed it, never deviated from it. But my question would be, have you ever dated a foreigner before? You'll get your yes or no answer. If she says yes, like, oh, what kind of foreigner did you date? And then I'll let you know, and then you can kind of go from there. But for example, if I ask them, hey, have you ever been with a foreigner before? Right? Are you interested in being with a foreigner? Have you ever been with a black guy before? And then I would train the questions, or that line of questioning would take whatever route it would take. Because usually I would ask questions like, have you ever thought about being with a black guy, right? Because now you're opening up the floodgates, because most girls maybe have thought about it, fantasized about it, and you just fill in the mold, right? Or you just fill in a position for the moment, right? Some girls may have never thought about it, and if they haven't, you'd be like, have you ever thought about how much fun it could be, And most girls, if they're giving you or entertaining you in any way, shape, or form, that would be the 50% that rocks with you. So you're probably close to, having an opportunity to see where it goes. But that was just a little tangent to get back to where I needed to be. But for me, that's truly what dating life is like abroad, man. I mean, you can say it's the same for dating in the United States. Sometimes you'll find girls that rock with you, some that do not. But in reality, overseas, it's a little bit different. Because you can change a young lady's mind. I just don't feel like it's worth the effort and energy to go through the process of trying to change somebody's mind about how they feel about a particular group of people. And I'm going to just say it. Just going to say it, rip it off like a Band-Aid. I know Doc's on his ADHD shit and he's jumping all over the place. But sometimes the reason that some of these young ladies have certain feelings about certain races of men is because of what they've heard about a particular race of men from another race of people. You can fill in the blanks on your own. I'm not going to say that's the general sentiment amongst all, but a lot of women and, the media don't help in the stereotypical way that most people promote black folk, right? Gangsters, dangerous type shit, whatever. Even though in the Philippines, and I'm speaking more so about the Philippines, they love our music, they love our dancing and all that shit. So they've embraced black culture from that perspective. But the guys in the gang life and all that stuff, it seems to still be a narrative that some people have to try to overcome. It sucks that we still have to go through it, but it is what it is. A lot of young ladies, the real ones, they don't put a lot of stake in what they hear on, TV or see on social media, because the black people that they've interacted with, and I'm speaking more about Africans and African Americans that they've had interactions with, they don't necessarily have that sentiment, or, they don't give off that energy or that vibe. So when you meet them in person, it's a little bit different. So a lot of women won't have that same energy. But for those that do, it's like you have to try to overcome this hurdle over the reason why people ain't rocking with you is because of what they've seen on social media, and going back to the fact that some people may have said some negative and or disparaging things about being with black men. Oh, you don't want to be with those guys are like this, those guys are like that. I'm not going to go into details about the particular individuals that may have these naysayer comments, but logic will let you know that there probably are a couple people that may look at black men as competition. And you know how it is, even though there's a plethora of women for everybody to, get their fill in the Philippines. Some people just don't want to, and I'm not going to say share in whatever, but they just don't want them dating, or they don't want girls dating these types of guys. So they say a couple things that are disparaging. And unfortunately, Filipinas are easily gullible, the majority of them. So they'll take what you say and they'll run with it. Oh my God, I heard they were like this, I heard they were like that, and oh, you shouldn't be with them because of this, or you shouldn't be with them because of that. Trust me, it's happened to me before. Kind of enraged me at the time because I was still young, but I got over it, right? A young lady said, I would not mess with you because of, something that I remember specifically. She referenced Chicago, the city. I said, what? I ain't even from fucking Chicago. But she did that, and I said, yo, it's the gullibility And in fact, this hoe was ignorant. And that's what I said in my mind. I said, this some ignorant ass hoes. And I didn't mean it, but I meant it, right? She was being ignorant as fuck, and it pissed me off, but I had to let it go. Because again, you can't win all of these battles. But going back to it, ladies and gentlemen, 50% chance they rock with you, 50% chance they don't. Take the 50% that rock with you, okay? I used to say often, white guys have their pick of the litter when it comes to the Philippines because most women like or want to be with white guys, the greater majority of them, right? I used to say statistically, and this may be a little off, but I used to say black guys have access to roughly I said even if you as an African American only had access to about 10 to 20% of the young ladies representative of the Philippines, because 10 to 20% of them were the ones that would rock with you, that is a large number of women, right? A lot of people don't take that into consideration. If the white guys had 100%, and out of that 100%, 10 to 20% would be okay with the idea of dating, or being with black guys. Again, this was a hypothetical. This isn't based off of stats. It was a hypothetical. I would say, 10% is still a large group of women. If 1 in every 10 girls that you meet fuck with you, that's a lot. That's still a lot. And again, man, you're not trying to spread your seed around the country, man. It's not even a good look for you anyway. So that would be doing you a favor, if you ask me. But I'm rambling. I'm going to go on and get to getting. It's been a good day, man. If you got anything else you want me to react to, again, MikeThePIGuide@gmail.com. Send me some stuff, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to K Explorer. I like his content. As you guys see, I've kind of took some clips from some of his, his videos, and I think that he's a pretty dope content creator, doing the street interviews and really getting access to, the dating life and the life for foreigners in Korea more specifically. All right. It's been a good night, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.